that's what these players are dealing with. Like, you can transfer, hit it, but like mid-season, it's really, I don't know, it's detrimental. Like, you can't just go to another program and immediately be like, hey, we're good. Like, there's elements, they got to ride this thing out if you're going to be smart about it. You know, something to your point, Straight, some guys don't even got film. Like, they like, based off of what, we're going to break it down, based off of last Saturday, like, that ain't film you want to really put out, you know, from a standpoint. Or so I'm just really being honest on it. Like,
well, that's you're right on point there and right on message, Otis. You know, the conversations, I know that we all get calls and we talk to players and we try to counsel them. We mentor them as big brothers, uncles, whatever you want to call it, as guys who've been through this program before, not having a transfer portal, that doesn't matter. We understand that just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should do something. And most of the players that are, you know, entertaining that in that locker room are guys who have not played and are unhappy, are still going through the initial, you know, hey, I need to grow up as a young man. I need to be a better player. You know, you have to handle your business a different way. And a lot of times that is uncomfortable. You're kind of going through the fire to be able to learn how to be a college football Division I player. And I told him, you know, like, look, we have private conversations, and I know this is a family show, but I you know, the way I feel about it is like, you know, you can try to do that and you can accelerate your retirement from this game, because the portal does not guarantee you a landing spot. It definitely doesn't guarantee you a landing spot at the level of Michigan State or above. And that's what I think a lot of young players can think when things get hard, then I'm just going to take off and go. But that's not always the answer. And I would caution most players from doing that. Yes, Peyton Thorne was able to do that, and he has it's a different circumstance. Yes, Keon Coleman was able to do that. Totally different circumstance than what we're going through right here, right now. And yes, I understand that it may be that, and guys are pointing to feel like who's the leader, and it's going to take leadership from within to hold everybody together. And you talked about the coaching search, Otis. You talked about that. Like, okay, we have Harlan there in this position, and you have a lot of outside noise talking about who's going to be the next coach. People are posting all day long, you know, the top 10 new coaches. And I mean, they're going back to Nick Saban. They're talking about the guy from Duke. They're talking about D'Antoni. I mean, it's running the gamut right now with all that outside noise. But the guy who's there, like this team, what they have is an opportunity today. They have an opportunity to prepare today like their life depends on it, because it absolutely does. What they put on film on Saturday on that field in Spartan Stadium absolutely is the resume for what people consider them to be as a player or not. So I just don't, you don't, this is not time to mail it in. We've all gone through hard times. Did any one of you guys, either one of you, face zero adversity as you came through Michigan State as a football player?
Absolutely. I wish.
Have you ever, I'm going to ask this one, have you ever felt like maybe this game isn't for me?
Oh, yes. When the dog days, absolutely.
Everybody felt like that.
Those dog days, baby. Good Lord. I flash back and I get tired just thinking about it. Like,
always that too. Like back when we used to do 2-a-days, and then you get done with that one, you hurry up and eat, you go and you sneak a quick nap, and that alarm clock wakes up, goes, and you're like, damn, maybe I can just lay here and just forget it.
Right. You see the other guys in the dorm hanging out, playing video games, playing drinking games, and you're walking to practice. You know, early in the morning, it's quiet, it's cold outside. You walking across that frozen tundra trying to get to winter conditions. Like, that's not fun.
Look, I flash back, I go to detail exactly where I was at when I had this conversation with self. It was Friday. We was opening up. This is back to look, you can't wait for this, right? Shoot. This is back with John Elway. Like, if you weren't dressing, like you sitting in the stands with your family, bro. Like, and that was the most disrespectful thing I ever kind of experienced from the standpoint of like, bro, I done came here and I'm sitting there. I done made blood, sweat, and tears practice, and I can't even dress. And right then and there was like, oh man,
you had to use one of your own comp tickets.
Use one of your own comp tickets, and then 3 for your family. And so this is the worst part that I flash back. I use this as motivation. So in Case Hall, I'm getting ready to, go to the game. I'm in the dress. I'm in the elevator. Random families on there. They're like, "Hey, you look like you play football." I was like, "Yeah, I play. I'm on the team." Man, they was like, "They're playing right now. You're not on the team." Like that right there, man. Like I swear to him, oh my God. Like he already know we had that conversation. So that night, man, I walked from Case Hall to Brody Hall to go to by myself. And I was just like, this ain't it, dog. Like, this ain't it. Like, why would you put me here in this situation where I ain't flourishing? It was a selfish prayer, too. Like,
they're playing right now.
They're playing right now. Like, that really humbled me. And I promise you, Stray, that next Sunday, I was like, I had a mentality. It was like, somebody's got to pay for this. And I was going out there just knocking, like, scout team. I was being like, talking about you had the scout team. I'm trying to crack this depth chart. Like, I feel like I was an embarrassment to my city, like where I came from.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And those are elements that these kids, you go through it, man, like mentally. We ain't had no resource to go to talk this through to a psychiatrist or talk it through sports. It was like I got to do something about it. I got to go change the tide for myself. And I'm going and I'm flying around. I'm knocking people out. I'm hurting myself. And as soon as that dress list came, I was second depth chart on special teams. And I was just like, I kept thinking about that conversation. I was like, I'm on the team. You feel me? Like, and those, it's stressful. Like, I think about these kids got more things to deal with, distractions, like, NIL. It's, hey, now I got a coach, to your point. New one's coming in. He's going to clean weaves, pull themselves, like Coach D mentality. That's now everybody's thinking, I can't even focus on getting to Maryland. Like, I'm trying to focus on, like, future versus, like, living in the present moment when the moment is so chaotic.
The moment is what you have to get through. You gotta be where your feet are at, and you gotta get through today in order to get to tomorrow. And that's where I think a lot of the players are getting lost. You brought up NIL. I mean, that's a lot of talk too. Like, as the NIL starts to evolve, there's going to be mistakes made. There's players on a lot of teams, not on a lot, on every team in America that are getting paid more than guys that should be getting paid, if you know what I mean. That's just a fact. And players take it personal. They do. And then they hold it against the university. They hold it again, and they start having these internal feelings, and they act out on them by, I'm going to leave, go to the portal. I'm going to do this. And that mood, that whole vibe infects the locker room, infects the team. And then you go out there and you have a game like you had this past weekend against Washington. Now, this team had more than NIL on their mind, obviously. This team is hurting because the coach that they all mentally signed up for is no longer there, and it's hard. And though Harlan is a great guy and he's a Spartan Dawg, it's incredibly difficult. Like, I look at Coach D'Antonio. I know Coach D'Antonio as a defensive back coach. I remember him getting literally undressed by Nick Saban on many occasions, at practice, as Nick does with a lot of players and coaches and staff. Didn't matter. He ruled with an iron fist. Mel Tucker was on that same staff as a GA. And I mean, he was scared to death all the time. But over time, they've gone to different places. I've seen Coach D'Antonio win a national title as a defensive coordinator at Ohio State. I've seen him get a head coaching job at Cincinnati. And then when he returns, he's in a different light. Same thing with Mel. It's different now. This is a new team. When you go from one seat to another, from literally one day to the next, that's a tough sell. It is a tough sell. And so we have to get behind Harlan and the leadership and everybody, like we talked about on that call yesterday with the old Spartan Dawgs that are there. everyone needs to get behind this team and try to mentor these young men through this traumatic time and give them sound advice, not selfish advice, but sound. And that's really what we're doing this for. We're doing this so not only to educate the fan base that is hurting right now, but we're doing this selfishly for the program. We want this program to be successful because it's ours. We are the program. All the people who've come before us, the guys who have played, today and the ones that are coming after us, it's our duty to do everything we can for these young men. And I feel a heavy sense of responsibility to do it and to have these tough conversations. I would rather not talk about it. But what good am I if we don't do that? That's selfish of me and the two men that are on this show with me if we don't do it. So I just, I'm not trying to preach and give everybody, all this, but this is just what's on my mind. And we have to do better. We have to try to put our arms around this whole entire sports community. This doesn't affect just football. This affects every sport. Every coach is having trouble recruiting. Every parent is wondering what the hell is going on. Is it safe up there? Because it brings back all the other feelings, and we know we don't need to bring the guy's name up there with the monsters that's been on campus before. This brings up a lot of emotions that we shouldn't have to deal with, but we are. So we have to do the hard work. We're doing that, and people, this is not easy. I know, Otis, look, this is hard for all three of us up here. And we're towing the line, not trying to get too emotional about it and say things out of turn in this cancel society. But I hope that our heart comes through in this.